Welcome to Ask Cindy. Today we're going to talk about why being nice is costing you love and respect. Not just nice, but too nice. So, here is the common lie about niceness. Have you ever given your all in a relationship? Always understanding, always giving, never asking for much, only to feel unappreciated, ignored, or even abandoned? If that hit home, stay with me because today we're talking about one of the biggest self worth traps, and that's being too nice out of fear. My very good friend and mastermind buddy, Maribel, said something recently that really stuck with me. And I mention her often, and I mentioned this before, but if you haven't heard it, let me just share it again. And that is, you can't out nice a poor self concept. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized this is exactly what so many people do in relationships. They think that if they're just nice enough, easy enough, selfless enough, they'll finally be loved the way they want. But here's the twist. No one talks about it. Being too nice doesn't make people love you more. It actually makes them value you less. And in a minute, I'm going to tell you exactly why, plus a story of how this backfired for someone just like you. But first, let me know in the comments. Have you ever felt like you had to prove your worth by being overly nice? Let me tell you about Sarah, a woman I coach who had this exact problem. Sarah was dating this girl and she adored her. She was the perfect girlfriend, always there for her, never got upset, constantly supporting her dreams. She thought, if I love her hard enough, she'll see my worth and never leave. Hmm. But do you know what happened? Her girlfriend started pulling away. At first, she seemed to appreciate her kindness, but over time, she started taking her for granted. She canceled plans, ignored text, prioritized everything but her. And the more she tried to fix things by being even nicer, the more she lost interest. And that's when Sarah had her wake up call. Because here's the truth, the very uncomfortable truth. The reason nice people get overlooked, because people don't fall in love with ease. They fall in love with depth. Overgiving doesn't make you valuable. Being real does. Saying yes to everything doesn't build attraction. Having standards does. If you have to prove your worth, you don't believe in it yourself. Yeah. Sarah's problem wasn't that she was too nice. Her problem is that she was giving out of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of not being enough. Fear. You know what's so funny about it is that here's the exact opposite of love. The two don't mix. And if fear is your motivation for a relationship, I can already tell you it's going to end in disaster because your subconscious is secretly focused on what it can lose. And you know where that's saying, where your attention goes, energy flows. So this is the resistance you're building. This is where your mind is predominantly focused. And if this is dictating how you behave, you're not really being yourself. In cases of fear, you're going to more than likely behave opposite of who you truly are and put on masks. And those masks can vary. You know, for example, if you fear humiliation, you're going to put on a masochist mask and you're going to make fun of yourself all the time and you're going to be putting yourself down all the time. And this isn't helping you. Or if you fear rejection and abandonment, you're either going to be too clingy or you're going to withdraw and self-sabotage. If you fear being someone being unfair, like injustice, you're going to be too rigid. These are all masks that you wear as a result. You're not being your true authentic self. You're being the self that guards against fear. Like, for example, being controlling when you fear betrayal. These are all unconscious aspects that don't allow your true self to shine. And here's the problem with that. People don't fall in love with the mask. It turns them off eventually. What they want is your true self because at the end of the day, everybody wants to be loved for exactly who they are. So when you let fear dictate your behaviors, you're actually working against yourself. All right. And here's where it gets even deeper. Why being too nice pushes people away. All right, let's get real. If someone handed you $1 million watch for free, would you question it if it was real? Probably. Because we're wired to believe that anything too easy, too available, or too accommodating loses value. This is what happens when you're too nice in relationships. People stop appreciating you because they don't have to earn your presence. It's funny, the opposite sex in the masculine energy values everything based on their accomplishments and earning things. And if you are not one of those things, you're less likely to be valued. And this is something that I don't think women understand in this modern age where we've gotten so, I don't know, loosey goosey and don't value ourselves or our bodies or consider them treasures. And we've just taken this attitude. Well, is it any wonder that men just don't have this attachment like they do before or masculine energy? It doesn't have to be men. You see, if they haven't earned it, they don't appreciate it. That's the truth. Now, I'm not saying for us to be gold diggers. I don't mean that, but if you have these standards, if you're respected, if you're not this easy to get type of thing, you're going to be valued and treasured more. And I know I sound old-fashioned, and yet I don't have problems attracting, keeping commitments. Hmm. I say if it is not broken, don't fix it. I don't care how old-fashioned I sound. This is just me being real. All right? Now, I'm going to flip it so you can think about this in a way that maybe will help transform how you are being if you need this kind of help. I want you to think about it. Have you ever had someone like you too much too soon? Maybe they were always texting, always available, always trying to impress you. And instead of feeling flattered, it felt suffocating, right? Hmm. That's what happens when we overgive. And if this is resonating with you, let me know in the comments. Have you ever been in a relationship where you gave everything only to feel unappreciated? It's a very common thing. I know it is. That's why I'm talking. So, how did Sarah turn this around? And how can you do it too? The moment Sarah stopped bending over backwards, everything changed. She stopped saying yes out of guilt. She stopped tolerating bare minimum effort. She started prioritizing herself. And guess what? Her girlfriend wanted her attention again. Yeah, but by then she was done. But she finally realized something powerful. Real love doesn't require you to lose yourself. I want to say that again. For me, what's so funny is I don't have, and I'm not trying to sound braggadocious or anything. I just want you to understand where my expertise is coming from. This isn't a book. This is my real life experiences. That's why it's so easy for me to have these conversations and for me to have these discussions on Ask Cindy. For me, the biggest fear that would ever motivate me would be losing myself. You see, I love and honor her. Everything about me. I love her. And if I have to lose myself to keep someone, I'd rather lose the other person. That's the difference. I choose me 100% all the time. And here's the difference, because love is a mirror, I get people that are devoted. It matches my state. In a world where everything is you pushed out and these mirrors have depths, and I know I'm not just giving you the surface level knowledge. If you want to learn more, please watch my other episodes that are coming up soon on the science of attraction, where I explain these mirrors and what's going on behind the scenes. But in the interim, trust me when I say that love will show you into yourself. And if you're not self aware enough to be choosing yourself, to ride or die for yourself, then the mirror will always show up as you are being. So if you're abandoning yourself, if you're being unfair, if you're tolerating too much, right? Then the reflected self or the partner will do the exact same thing to you that you are doing to yourself. This is law. That's why when you're told it's not about them, it's true. It's not. And it never will be. All right? So, how to stop out nicing your poor self concept. If you're ready to stop this pattern, here's what you need to do. First things first, ask yourself, am I giving out of love or out of fear? Start small. Okay? No one's asking you to be this militant person that you're not. And if you're not comfortable doing these things, start getting comfortable by starting with very small steps. Setting one boundary this week, just one, is a step in the right direction. And continue building on that momentum. Every journey starts with the first step right in front of you. Next, this is very important. Notice who respects it and who resists it, because this tells you everything. Again, your job is to be fair to yourself, to look out for that soul inside your body. Why? Because you want your partnership to mirror and reflect this love and respect. And since love is a mirror, this is an important step. You need to notice who's watching. Because if someone's just sitting here taking advantage of you, you also need to notice that. That's why if they respect your boundaries, they're keepers. If they don't, you need to rethink them. Okay? If you're serious about breaking the cycle, I can help. So I've recently had my human design done, and I learned that my right angle cross is love, which means it is my job to teach the world everything love and relationships. And you know what? Funny and ironic. I'm made for this. Not because I learned it in a book, but because I was raised this way. And in all my years of life, like relationships have never been my issue. There's a lot of other things I can worry about. This isn't one of them, right? So please feel free to book a session at Bridge to Self Mastery and let's rewrite this pattern for good. But before you go, let me ask, what's the one thing you'll stop tolerating in your relationship starting today? I really want to hear it because it's important that I make a difference to you guys. And everything that I'm doing because I want to teach. I want people to learn. I want to be that voice. I hope that one day people are as lucky to have a mother like mine who really instilled this in my childhood and it became who I am today. So as a result, I would love for people to notice, to raise their little girls and their little boys this way, to have their self-worth, to have their value intact, to really learn to love and appreciate everything that they are. This is important. So I really do want to hear from you. Until next time, though, stay kind and please do us all a favor and stay real. This isn't about fitting in. This is about you embracing everything you are. Because if you do this, you have mastered self-love. Thanks for watching.